Hello everyone, good morning. Yes, am I audible, visible to all of you? Yes, hello everyone. Am I audible, visible to all of you? Yes, everyone. Yes, Nilesh, good morning. Yes, good. Okay. So those who haven't downloaded the Unacademy app, please download it so that you will get the all the benefits of Unacademy. Let me introduce myself, those who are new here for them. My name is Harshvardhan Singh, and on this platform, I'm going to teach you history, all the aspects of history, including history optional, economics, and international relation. Right now, my series on world history and international relation is going on. So please do watch the videos. It is available on our YouTube channel as well as it is available on our app. I'm having 8-year experience in the field of civil services as an educator, and earlier I was selected as an intelligence bureau officer. This is my Telegram channel. Those who want to connect with me, and this is my Unacademy address. Please connect me if you are having any doubt, any query. You can ask me there. So these are our top educators. Please do watch their videos so that you will get the more benefits. And please subscribe to Unacademy. And those who haven't taken subscription till now, then we have option of 1 month, 3 month, 6 month, 12 month, 24 and 36. I insist you at least take a subscription of 12 month, and we have plus as well as iconic option. I insist you to take an iconic subscription because here we are going to provide each and everything, every aspect related to your preparation, including personal feedback. Whenever you want to take the subscription, please use my code. This is my code, HarshV10 is my code. You will get 10% discount. Along with that, you're going to count as my student. Yes, Ashwini, very good morning. My favorite question I always ask. Yes, this is also optional subscription. Please subscribe to optional as well. The best faculty are going to guide you. The UPSC Combat, as everyone is quite aware of it. Those who don't know, then just go through app and take the details of it. We have the prices of it as rank 1, rank 2, rank 3. We have the prices. Along with that, recent the 6 months are left for UPSC prelims. So we launched the batches. These are our top educators. The batches are there. For detail, you can visit our app or website. And one more thing, these are my classes. Special classes are going on. It is available only on the app, and you have to use my code while you're going to log in. Now, today we are going to discuss colonization and decolonization of Africa. Yes, Akshay, very good morning. Yes, Rahim, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Yes, so colonization and decolonization of Africa, this is an important topic we are going to discuss as the most neglected portion in the world history syllabus, and most of the student doesn't read that portion. And since last 4 5 years, UPSC is going to ask the question from these areas. If you go through the previous year question paper, you will get to know that one question asked in UPSC, and that is related to West Africa, the decolonization process in West Africa. So most of us is like, what? Where? West Africa? We haven't read it. So please remember, if you haven't read that portion, so what you are going to do? Are you going to skip the question or you are going to attempt the question? So these two choices are with you. Either you are going to skip. Skip means you will not get any marks. Clear? And attempt. How can you attempt the question if you don't know anything about it? Means if you think so that if you are going to write the question just like your university level or your college level, then you are not getting good marks. Forget about good marks. You are not getting the marks, as you are just wasting your time. So for that, we have to attempt this question in a different manner. So please don't go, watch the full video. In that, the last segment, I'm going to discuss that particular question, how to write a question when you have very limited knowledge. Clear? So this is a map of colonization of Africa. Yes, African continent is visible on your screen. Yes, Horn of Africa. Yes, it is very famous. Horn of Africa is there. Yes, along with that, these coasts are very famous. Yes, Green Coast, Gold Coast. Yes, this area is basically where it is. Mediterranean Sea is there. So basically, on one side, Europe is there. On other side, its geographical location, all the three lines, which lines I'm talking about? Tropic of Cancer, Equator, and Capricorn. All are passes through this island. Means basically this area is, why I am telling you this thing most important, because without knowing the geography you cannot understand the colonization process in Africa. Clear? So that's why I'm telling you, I'm not teaching geography. And in UPSC you know that all teacher can teach all the subjects. Yes, and as you are doing the same thing. So this area is known as torrid zone. Yes, this area is known as torrid zone, means maximum sun is there, maximum heat is there. Clear? And that's why earlier it was known as dark continent. Yes, earlier it was known as dark continent. Clear? So just observe this thing. You will get to know that maximum colonies are there on the coastal area. Yes, most of the European colonies are there in coastal areas. And later on you will find that yes, this map shows that in deep as well they were there. How it is so? How they established their colony in interior part as well. So today we are going to discuss that. So till now the map is clear. Here you can see in this map the colonial powers. Which colonial power? Yes, green shows French. This brickish color is for Britain. Blue is for, yes, which country? Blue is for, here it is mentioned, everyone. France, Britain, then Spanish. Yes, Spanish rule was there. Along with that, Portugali rule was there. Clear? Italian rule was there. German rule was there. So basically, if you go through the map, you will get to know that Britain, France, then Italy, Germany, Belgium, etc., etc., established their control over the African continent. Yes, Nilesh, Spanish control is there. Yes, Neha said map is not visible. Everyone is facing the same problem? I don't think so, because it is visible on my screen. So maybe it is due to the network problem. Okay, so just go through the map. You will get to know that European powers established their control over Africa. Yes, is that clear? So in this, we mentioned three important points related to the African continent. First, we mention it's the torrid zone, popularly known as dark continent. Yes. Second, we mention European control over this area. Clear? And third, we mention the European colonial masters in this particular area. Okay. Yes, map is not clearly visible. Don't worry. You know African map. And if it is not visible clearly in next map, I am going to discuss that thing with you again. Don't worry. Clear? So these 3 points are clear to all of you. Now the next thing. Colonization of African continent. Colonization of African continent. The first important thing, that is European established their control over the coastal areas. When this European power came to Africa, they established their control over coastal area. Why? Okay, no problem. The map, maybe the blur is there. It's okay. I'm going to show you the another map in these slides only, so you will get to know exact idea of it. So yes, the first one, European established their control over the coastal area. But why coastal area? Yes, Rudra, Neha, Nilesh, Bhanupriya is there. Yes, good morning. Yes, Sainath is also there. Sainath said transport. Nilesh said trade. Okay, yes, go on, fast. Because they came by sea route. Really? Really, is that so? They came by sea route. If they came by the car, they can establish their control over the inner part of it. Yes, everyone. That's why I always used to say, please use common sense, just like a pinch of salt. Just like take a pinch of common sense and use it. It will really help you in civil services examination. And port plus labors. Slave. Wait, guys and girls, use common sense. First of all, the most important aspect is related to the trade. Yes, most of them are the trading companies. They are very much interested in trade. Yes, that is the one reason. And most of the trade at that time, if you want to transport from one area to another area, then ship was the only option for that. But this is not the case. Why they established their control over the coastal area? This is the one of the aspect related to the trade. The most important aspect is climatic condition. That's why in the first slide, I discussed this thing, the torrid zone, dark continent. Yes, it was not time pass. I just want to tell you the same thing. Why they established their control? The reason is climatic condition. How? As we already mentioned, it is a torrid zone. Sun is directly there, and these European countries or the European people came from which continent? Europe. Common sense. If we are asking about the climatic condition, then yes, the weather near coast is suitable for them, of course, because they are from temperate zone. Cool type of climate is there. Have you ever seen? Have you ever seen? In general, there is ice, snowfall, ever in your life? In general, I am asking about. Exceptions are always there. In general, is it there? No. If you go through the African continent, you will get to know that there are many deserts in that area. The most important problem with all of you that you are not going to link the things with each other. We already gave you the example of it when we discussed the South Africa. Yes, do you remember? South African apartheid. That time I first gave you the background of it. The first time I gave the background, and that time I mentioned this point only. Why the Cape Colony? Why not other part? It is just because of the climatic condition. The coastal area is having moderate climatic condition. If you are not agree with me, just go through the European colonies all over the world. You will get to know that most of the cities they established on the coastal side. Forget about the world, as most of you saw the world just through map. But Have you heard about Mumbai ever in your life? Chennai, Kolkata, the previous name Bombay, Madras, Calcutta. Don't you think these cities are established by the Britishers only? Yes, and these cities are basically coastal area. Have you ever seen in your life that Britishers established any city in the interior part of India? In general, not. Why? Answer is same. Because of the continental effect is there. This is a geographical term. Because of the continental effect. The climatic condition is moderate. And you know what? African continent is having worse situation as compared to the other part of the world. You know, malaria. Malaria. Have you heard about malaria? Yes, Nilesh, exactly. Now, have you ever heard about malaria? Mosquito played an important role, and you know that in this particular zone, which zone? Equatorial and this hot temperate zone, there is a problem of malaria. And at that time, there was a high mortality rate of Europeans. Yes, just mosquito bite can kill a person. It was a case of that time. So that's why they do not want to go in the interior sides of the African continent. Clear? Interior side of African continent. Yes, now it is the first point is clear to all of you. Why European established their control over the coastal area. The two aspects are there. Of course, first is trading aspect, and the second important aspect is climatic condition, which is moderate, and because of that they settle in that particular area. Yes, everyone, is that clear? Okay. The next thing, the mainly focus on the trading activity, means most of the European powers were interested in trade and trading activities. So if I ask you which type of trade they used to do in this particular area, as you know, in India they were mostly interested in spices. What about Africa? Yes, everyone, what about Africa? Which type of trade or trading activities they were engaged at that time? Yes, question is clear to all of you. Yes, the question is clear to all of you. Yes, Nilesh, gold, oil. Yes, exactly. The name of the coast is there in West Asia, sorry, West Africa. Gold Coast, Green Coast. Yes, yes, exactly. Along with that, one more important trade was there, and that is slave trade. Yes, whatever the commodities are there. Yes, boys and girls, is that clear to you? Or you haven't heard about the trading activities with Africa? Yes, most of you are, I don't think so, quite aware of this, the trading activities in that particular area. Most important is related to the gold, oil, palm oil is very famous in that particular area, grains famous for that area. But other than this, a most important trade was the slave trade. Slave trade. How? Slave trade, why it is necessary to have a trade in slave? Is there any importance of it? Yes, everyone. Is there any importance of slaves? in that particular time, in which area it is required. Yes, everyone? Hmm. Boys and girls, quick, fast, fast. Slave trade. Where? Why? Nilesh said palm oil from Amazon forest. Nilesh, Amazon, Latin America, Africa. We are focusing right. Yes, exactly. Why it is important? It is important for many reasons, and most important is labor. They acted as a free laborers. Means free labor means without paying. They were slave, no need to pay, and providing food is optional as well. They were used to work in the industries of company. Yes, exactly. They work as a bonded labor, but most importantly, the plantation industry. Yes, because they were unskilled labor, where free labor, plantation industries. And the very best example of this is rubber, tea. Yes, do you know that there are many Indians also there in Caribbean areas? Means the people of Indian origin is there in Caribbean area. Sometime you used to heard the name. One person is very famous when IPL team is there, Sunil Narayan. How does Sunil Narayan is there? Basically, his ancestor is from India only. They migrated as a labor. So such type of labor is required in this particular area where rubber, tea and other aspects are important. Plantation industry is important. Clear? Why? Because for plantation industry, it is a labor intense industry and they required huge amount of labor and slave provided it. Clear? And where? So the where option is very clear to all of you. Yes, where? Of course, the slaves were mostly in American continent, American continent, Australia, even American continent, both north and south, both continent. Australia is among them. Is that clear? Slave trade was the most important aspect of trade with Africa. And who played a most important role in that? That is also a most important question. Who played important role in that? So the two countries played most important role in that, that is Portugal and Spain. Yes, exactly. Now you get it. We have cities here in India which were from Africa. Yes, Horn of Africa, Somalia, then also Ethiopia, Abyssinian. Abyssinian means basically Ethiopia. Have you ever heard about one racist kind of word is used in India? Hapsi. Hapsi is a word is used. Basically, it is for the Abyssinian. Clear? Yes, everyone. Clear? Portugal and Spain played a most important role in slave trade. Point is clear to all of you? Yes, boys and girls, clear to all of you? Yes, is that clear to all of you? Here, except Dutch. And as we mentioned, mainly focused on trading activities except Dutch. Why? What's the problem with that? whether Dutch were not means can be considered whether Dutch are more progressive in nature. They do not want the trading activities and all. Is that the case? If it is not, of course, they are there. They established the colony, and the only purpose of colony is economic exploitation of that country. Clear? Why Dutch? Why Dutch is the exception? What do you think? Why means what activities Dutch were doing in that particular area? Yes, there are many 11, 12 students are actively participating in it. The question to all of you, जिन्हें समझ में नहीं आ रहा है उन्हें उनके लिए कहना चाहता हूँ कि डच क्या काम कर रहे थे फिर अफ्रीका में. ठीक है, बाकी लोग तो व्यापार कर रहे थे, तो डच क्या कर रहे थे वहां पे? यस, फॉर योर जनरल अंडरस्टैंडिंग आई एक्सप्लेन इन हिंदी as well. What do you think? In which activities Dutch were engaged in Africa? As we mentioned, except Dutch. Yes, boys and girls. No reply from your side. Very simple. As we discussed this thing in our previous video related to the South African apartheid, the background I mentioned this thing. Dutch were engaged in agriculture practices. Yes, Dutch were engaged in agriculture practices. They were least interested in trading activity. Why it is so? Because Dutch sent their surplus population. Dutch sent their surplus population in African continent. Yes, and very best example, very good example, we mentioned their Cape Colony. Yes, Vijay Kumar, you said spices trade. No, spices are very famous in Asian continent only, not in African continent. Clear? So they were engaged in agriculture practices and dairy farming. Clear? Yes, everyone. Clear? Is that clear to all of you? Clear? Because without understanding the background of it, how can we understand the division of Africa, the scramble for Africa? Yes, everyone. Is that clear to all of you? Hello, everyone. Is that clear? Any question? Any query? Yes, do you understand? Yes, it is clear to all of you. Okay, now the next important thing that is related to here. The most important European powers were here is France, Britain, Portugal, Spain, and Belgium. These were the earlier European power that established control over the African continent. Belgium is one of the important factors. Why? Why I'm mentioning why Belgium is important? Because Belgium is exception for it. Belgium is exception for it means for coastal area. Belgium is a pioneer in penetrating into deep oh, penetrate into deep Africa. Yes, Belgium, their king, that Leopold, the name of the king was Leopold, and he entered into deep Africa. Most of the European power engaged in the coastal area, but Belgium is an example of it. They focus and they concentrate on the deeper side of the Africa, and very best example of their colony is Congo. Yes, exactly, Vijay Kumar, exactly. The very best example is Congo. Clear? So these are the European colony. They control their means they establish their control over the coastal area except Belgium, and later on these all European power started struggling, and this struggle was so violent, and that leads to the scramble for Africa. Scramble for Africa. What exactly the scramble for Africa? How it started? Who played an important role? Who played an important role? Yes, we are going to discuss. Scramble for Africa. This is the era from 1880 to 1913. This era is known as Scramble for Africa. Just imagine, not just imagine, just see. In 1880, the map is totally different. In 1913, map is completely changed. How it is so? Yes, everyone, is it visible to all of you? 1880. 1880, the map is clear. 1913, map is completely different. How it is so? Just imagine, not just imagine, just see. Coastal area, mostly coastal area, coastal area, except Belgium, as we mentioned, Congo. This area is Congo. This area is Congo. These all are the coastal area. Yes, everyone. Now class is buffering right now, or is it okay? And map is visible to all of you? Map is visible to all of you? Yes, everyone? Okay. So 1880, 1880, most of the European colonies settled in coastal area, but in 1913, almost all the landmass of African continent is captured by European colonies. Almost all map. How it is possible? Just and this is the best example, the fastest expansion of European power in any part of the world. How many years are there? How many? If you go through the year, how many years it required? Yes, how many years? Just अरे यार कॉमन सेंस तो इस्तेमाल करो 33 years just within 33 years European captured the whole continent. Was it the case in other parts of the world? Of course not. Then how it is possible within a short interval of time, how they captured everything. Now, one more factor is important for it, and that factor is here. The scramble for Africa, the most important factor is Berlin Conference. In 1885, Berlin Conference was there, and who played important role in that? Any guess? Yes, everyone. Berlin Conference was there in 1885. Can you guess who played an important role in that? Yes, boys and girls. Any guess who played an important role? Just look at the years. Yes, Neha, Rudra, Nilesh, Saif, Ashwini. Exactly. It was a period. Yes, Vijay Kumar. Germany played important role, but in Germany, I'm asking about the person. Do you remember when we discussed about European continent and especially during the unification of Germany? I mentioned one person dominates the whole European continent. One person dominates the whole European continent, and that is Bismarck. Yes, exactly. This was the person who dominate whole European continent. Clear? So Bismarck played an important role in this conference. The Berlin Conference is there. It was initiative taken by him, and what was the purpose? To establish the international guidelines and avoid the violent dispute among the European powers. Yes, exactly. To establish international guidelines. The word is international guidelines, means this should be followed by all. Why? To avoid the violent dispute. Because as this diagram, here you will get to know that till 1880, everyone is established their control over the coastal area, and most of the European colonies were fighting over this area. They were interested in this particular area. But do you know that it is limited? You all knew this thing. Just look at this map. You will get to know that land is limited. Land is limited, and how it is possible that everybody will get their share? Of course not. And Germany is most interested in that. Why? Because Germany is latecomer in the race of colonization. They also want the colonies, and for that reason, this conference was there in 1885. The Berlin Conference was there to establish international guidelines to avoid the violent dispute amongst the European powers. This scramble for Africa, or this Berlin Conference, is also known as New Imperialism. The scramble for Africa is also known as New Imperialism. What's the new in that? What's the new in that? The most important aspect of it, imperialism was not the process of exploitation. Imperialism was not the process of exploitation. New imperialism became a important tool of exploitation, and one of the important aspect of new imperialism is establishment and uncontrolled exploitation of the colony. Clear? So to establish international guidelines to avoid dispute, and why it is so, here it is the point. It allows European power to move inland. It allows European power to move inland where is a less rivalry prevails, because land is free. Anybody can go, anybody can establish their control. So land is available, and because of that reason, there was a less. The word is less. I didn't mention no rivalry. Less rivalry was there, and most important aspect or the most important factor why the Berlin Conference was there, it is this formation of new nation state, and this new nation state wants to control over the inland area. And the most important example of this new nation state is Germany and Italy. Clear? Yes, is that clear to all of you? Yes, boys and girls, is that clear to all of you? This aspect? Yes, my future bureaucrats, is that clear to you? Is that clear to all of you? Any question, any query? Yes, do you have any question, any query? No. Okay. But I have a question for you. It is clear for you, but still I'm having the question. And this question is very simple, as you can consider it as a silly as well. As we mentioned earlier, the climatic conditions of inner part was not suitable for European. Yes, do you remember this point we mentioned? The climatic conditions of inner part of Europe or inner part of Africa is not suitable for Europeans. Humid climate, hot, basically hot climate. Along with that, I mentioned one more thing, that is mosquitoes, malaria. Yes, I mentioned this point because of this not suitable hot climatic condition is there, and along with that, several diseases were also there, and because of these diseases, high mortality rate was there. Yes, Ashwini, I'm going to explain it later. Right now, I'm focusing on this point. I'm going to explain the new imperialism concept again for all of you. So this point I already discussed with you. The climatic condition is different, hot. Along with that, lots of diseases are there, and because of these diseases, high mortality rate was there. Then why these European powers wants to enter into inner part of Africa just to get resources by endangering their lives? Yes, everyone. Yes. Why? Means why there is need to endanger your life? You are going to enter in that when there is a risk of high mortality. People are going to die. What's the use of resources if your people are going to die there? Mines were there, that's why. Okay, but my question is very simple, no? Okay, maybe the gold is there, diamond is there, everything is there. But what's the use of it if you're going to die there? One mosquito is going to bite you and you're going to die. High mortality rate is there. High mortality rate is there. European are going to die. Then why? Yes. Use your common sense and please give me the answer. Yes, I'm waiting for your answers, boys and girls. Come on, quick. You can, anybody can. Yes. Shravan Vijay Kumar used slave to maintain their inland part. European established colonies and stay in coastal regions. Hmm. Hmm. Go on. Yes, go on. And that's why I always say use common sense. There is no need to have exact knowledge of it. With common sense, you can answer this question. Don't you think so, Vijay Kumar? Slaves were there earlier as well. And don't you think so? There were less competition at that time. So it was very easy for this European power to clear the forest and to enter into that particular area and establish their control. Rudra said divided the territory within themselves. They did latter. They did latter due to the stumble of for Africa and all. They did latter. My question is very simple. What I ask you that as we already discussed, climatic condition was not suitable earlier and there was a high mortality rate in the inner part of Africa. So that's why European didn't enter into inland. Then why right now they entered into that particular area? The mines are there and every resources are there, need of colonies are there, raw material, that's okay. But what about high mortality rate? If you're going to die there, then what's the use of that property? What's the use of that mines? Simple. Shall I explain? Yes, everyone. Shall I explain? Or you want to guess? Yes, shall I explain or you want to guess it? Got help from indigenous people when they were fighting with each other. Okay, after some time, body will get adopted. Let me explain. Don't you think so? There is. Priti, you want to say in like this, like Corona, herd immunity and all. Very simple. Don't you think so? There is a progress in science, in the field of science. Don't you think so that Europeans work on the science field as well? Don't you think so? They invent the medicines for malaria. The marriage with the native also helped them to survive. The most important, simple progress in the science. That just imagine it is the era where the more scientific developments were going on. What do you think? That people were inventing or investing their money only in building a ships, bombs. That's it. Don't you think science is also achieving many more? things. Yes, exactly. This medicines for malaria was available, and because of that reason, mortality rate reduced. And yes, whatever the you aspect you mentioned later on, the adaptivity and all, it is there. By the time they adopted it, but still the harsh climate, these diseases, tropical diseases were more dangerous for them. So medicines invented, and that's why they were now in a position to enter into the land. Yes, I think so. Point is clear to all of you. Yes, this point is clear to all of you. Clear? Next, factors responsible for decolonization. Factors responsible for decolonization. This is the point. Now it is clear. Okay, good. As the slide is blank, so you might get surprised. Blank slide. How? Because this is the another thing which I am going to ask you. Factors responsible for decolonization. Just guess it. Whatever you are going to say, I am going to write, and let's check whatever you said is according to the expectation or not. What do you think? Factors responsible for decolonization. So as we mentioned, the colonies were established. Yes, the Scramble for Africa, Berlin Conference was there. They established control. This is all clear because this aspect we already discussed in German means the policy of secret alliance. We mentioned that how they want to control and all. How Italy. Yes, do you remember that France captured Tunisia? We discussed this point. So I don't think so. There is a need to discuss which country established which rule where, and this is the best example. Yes, those who have any confusion, then this is the best example which country established their rules for which area. Here is France, clear. Here is Britain, means the color itself shows Britain. Then here is France as well. Here is Portugal. It is clear to all of you which country ruled which area and all. And as I mentioned, the latecomer in the race of colonization played an important role. Germany and Italy continent was under European power. Clear? Okay, now we are going to discuss this part, that is factors responsible for decolonization. So first factor, as Ashwini mentioned, okay, Second World War. Second World War. Okay. Second. Yes. Hmm. World War II is responsible for decolonization. Okay. Second factor. Yes, everyone. Come on. Is that so difficult? Real rise of nationalism among the natives. Yes, exactly. Rise of nationalism. Exactly. Third point. Growing the spirit of same. Shravan Kumar said the same. Growing the spirit of nationalism within the indigenous people. Yes. Can we consider it as a freedom movement? Okay, good. 2 points are clear. World War II, rise of nationalism. Okay, next. Next. Third point. Self-confidence and boosted the national identity and cultural aspect. Yes, freedom movement. Rudra, it is the same thing. In general, whatever you mention, it is the same. Next, increasing the competition within the Europeans. How pretty increase in the competition within the European? It is not the case. Decolonization means that means they are going to leave the African colonies. It was not because of this thing. World War II, whatever if you want to say, then World War II is the best example. And colonialism or colonization is one of the factor in that. Economic problems in Europe. Okay. Ashwini, how this economic problem in Europe is related to this? Yes, you mention it, but I am asking how. Okay. Three factors you mentioned. Fourth, economic problem in Europe, you mentioned. Okay, how? Yes, what about rest? There are 13, 14 people are joined with us right now. What about you? Why you are not giving answers? Or are you allowing these people to write mains? And you said that no problem, just go and write on behalf of me. Is that the case? If it is not, then please. Great Depression of 1929. No, it is not considered as the factor for decolonization. Domestic problem in their own countries forced colonies to withdraw from colonial power to withdraw from the colonies. Yes, I'm going to write Shravan Kumar for you. But what exactly the domestic problems of colonial masters? You mentioned I just write. But my question is there which problems you're talking about? Fifth, British left Africa because of the problem in the other colonies like India. It was too much to manage. Could be. Really? Yes, Ashwini mentioned the economic problems. Yes, as the Europe were facing the economic crisis, so that they exploited lot that encouraged Africans to resist. Okay. As Preeti, I just want to explain this thing in very simple word that this decolonization process was there all over the world at the same time. So it is not the case to save the India they left Africa, and this it is not just related to the Britain. This is related to the all European powers. That's it. Just 4 points. 13, 14 students are there, and 4 points you are mentioning. Don't you think so? This is not a good practice. Okay, whatever the points you mentioned, let's check whether it is there or not. World War II, rise of nationalism in the colonies, economic problem in Europe, domestic problems in colony of the colonial master. Okay. Rudra said USA, USSR and newly independent country pressurized these powers. Okay, we mentioned this point. USA and USSR pressure. Sankalpa said yes. Sankalpa said the 6 point, that is UNO, NAM, etc. Let's check whatever you mention it is there or not. So factors responsible for decolonization in Africa, it is the same as the decolonization process all over the world. Same. World War II played an important role, important factors. How? Because the World War II led to vast devastation. World War II led to vast devastation, and this vast devastation led to the weakening of European power. Either it is a Britain, France, Germany, Italy, or any power. All powers were engaged, and it is not just a Second World War. The First World War was basically a major shock for them, but still somehow they survived. But Second World War was the most devastating in nature, and because of that reason, these European powers became economically weak, financially weak. Along with that, on the military wise, they were not in a position to control their colonies. So here is the weakening of European powers, the weakening in terms of economy, in terms of military, and because of one more thing, that is loss of lives. Clear? So these 2 points are clear. World War II was vast, devastating in nature. Second, and yes, of course, because of this World War II, the balance of power also changes. The BOP changes, and USA and USSR emerge as a superpower, and they pressurize European powers to end the colonization. At this point, we already discussed in previous case why USA and USSR pressurize them. The answer is very simple. USA bears the torch of liberty, so of course they are not going to allow other country to exploit other country. Clear? The second concept, USSR believed in the principle of equality, and equality is for all. Equality always stood against the rule of one nation over the other. So they ideologically they opposed it. Clear? Third, this colonial revolution. This is popularly known as rise of nationalism or freedom movement. Mhm. Remember this word. UPSC is definitely going to use this word colonial revolution in Africa, colonial revolution in Asia, or colonial revolution in Latin America. So do not get confused what exactly it is. Colonial revolution means freedom struggle of that particular country is known as colonial revolution. So this is also intense. Very best example. You can go through Indian example. Quit India movement. You can go through the best example of Vietnam, the movement led by Ho Chi Minh. So now the condition is so difficult for European power to sustain, and this Second World War was a death blow for them. They were economically weak along with the rise of superpowers that made their position very difficult. Yes, they cannot sustain. And finally, yes, whatever you mentioned, one more point. Finally, the formation of United Nations, along with that NAM, they were all against colonization. Yes, and that's why most of the European countries left their rule in the early decades of 1950, but whatever the areas left, gradually they left their control over African continent. So these are the factors responsible for decolonization of Africa. Yes, is that clear? Is that clear to you? Any confusion? Any doubt? Any query? Yes, is that clear? Any confusion? Any query? Yes, so whatever you said, it is there. Just 2 3 points I added there. That's it. So please remember, you have all the knowledge, you have all the information. The only problem is that how to put that information in the answer. So that's why I always insist you to use your common sense. Okay. Next, impact of decolonization of Africa. Impact of decolonization. So now I left whole slide for you. You have to tell me the impact of decolonization of Africa. Yes, 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 yes. Impact of decolonization of Africa. Now you are going to answer. Impact of decolonization of Africa, and just use common sense. Just use common sense. You will get the all answers of it. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seven, eight, whatever you want to say. Just I am here to write. Yes, common sense. And Rudra uses. Sorry, Shravan uses. Yes, rise of new nation state. Rise of you new nation state. Yes, exactly, Preeti. Expansion of democracy. Yes, Ashwini, exactly. Civil war, tribal conflicts. It is also the impact of it. The civil wars and tribal conflicts. Yes, exactly. Yes, Nilesh, we already mentioned. Rise of democracy, we already mentioned. Good. Yes, go on, go on, go on. Rise of new nation state. Okay. Establishment of democracy, expansion of democracy. Good. Civil wars. Yes. One more, one more, one more. And just common sense. Just use common sense, you will get the answer. Yes, Shravan, we already mentioned civil war and tribal conflicts. Actually, it was not within the state. Most of the conflicts were within the states. Hence, different tribes were ruling there, and when the establishment of democracy was there, they were not in a position, they were immature, and that's why that led to the conflict. Yes, Ravanda is a very famous example of that. The genocide was there. You can mention the genocide as well. Yes, you can mention here the civil war, terrible conflicts, and you can mention the genocide as well. One more important, just use your common sense. One more impact. Rise of corrupt regime. Yes, we can mention rise of dictators. Very best example, Robert Mugabe. Then one more person, Idi Amin. Consequences of divide and rule policy. Yes, of course, it is divide and rule policy in Malta. Rise of dictators, Robert Mugabe, Idi Abidi. Along with that, one more person recently, there was a country known as Libya, Gaddafi. They are the best example of it. But you are not telling me one more important thing. You missed the important, or rather, we can say it is a most important point in the impact of decolonization. And now, At least I gave you this clue, most important. So you have to use your common sense. These are important, but that particular point is most important. Preeti, are you going to write this thing in the examination? Looting of the remaining resources. Is that the language we are going to use while writing the answer? Of course, whatever you said, it is the thing in that particular point only. But we are not supposed to write in such a manner. Hmm. So many things I say, and still no one, none of you. The future of our country is very dangerous. See, see what? Neither, none of you in position to give that point. Arey, don't you think so? It is the most important impact of decolonization in Africa, neocolonialism. Yes, neocolonialism, and who played an important role in that? USA played important role. Yes, finally somebody said, Sankalpa, thank you. I really, really thank you to you because rest of the students. So neocolonialism is the most important aspect of it. It acted as a new tool. Yes, Preeti, whatever you said, it is a new tool of exploitation. These African countries fall into the trap of America, and those who miss the lecture of neocolonialism, please do watch. A video is available on YouTube or our app. Just go through it. You will get to know exact idea what exactly it is, how America exploited and all. We explain in that particular video. Clear? So neocolonialism is an important aspect or the important impact of decolonization of Africa, and how it is possible, because these were the newly independent nation states. They have lack of democracy and there were internal conflicts, and which provided a favorable ground for establishment of American control over these areas, and this new colonization is an indirect tool of economic exploitation. Clear? And why America is so much interested in Africa? Because huge availability of natural resources. Clear? You can write more points, but I just mentioned 5 points here. With help of you, we find out the 5 points. With more information, you can add more points. Yes, is that clear to all of you? Yes, is that clear to all of you? Any question, any query? Yes, is there any question, any query, any doubt? No? Good. Any doubt? Okay, the next thing we are going to discuss, colonization and decolonization of Egypt. We are taking this case of Egypt in particular. Yes, we generally discuss this related to the Egypt, sorry, generally related to the Africa, but here we are going to consider important aspect. or important country, that is Egypt, because it is a unique case. And finally, this Egypt issue played an important role in Cold War politics as well. Clear? Now, the Sayyid Pasha, he was a ruler. Who was he? Sayyid Pasha was a ruler and he ruled Egypt. Yes, Rajkumar, good afternoon. You joined so lately in the afternoon. I started the class in the morning only. Sayyid Pasha was a ruler and he did great public works. And you know, great public works means lots of things: infrastructure project, development, trade, and everything. And if you want to develop your country, you required money. And he invested that much money in public works. And because of that reason, that leads to severe debt over Egypt. And who is going to provide debt? Of course, European colonial masters, European this traders were there, these companies were there, they provided loan to them. Clear? So Sayyid Pasha did a wonderful job. Yes, yes, exactly. He did a wonderful job. He started a process of public works, but that leads to severe debt. Then Sayyid Pasha was succeeded by Ismail Pasha, and the same thing, financial crisis continued. Of course, the debt is there. It is a severe. The word is severe. Severe debt is there. Successor is also having the same legacy. So debt is serious. And who provided the debt? European companies provided the debt. Now, these European companies were asking to pay back. These European companies asking to pay back, and you know, they were not in a position. So what they did, that is Britain and France, these two companies jointly developed Suez Canal. So these two wants to recover the loan, and for that they took control over income and expenditure of Egypt. And for that reason they appointed the officials. Clear? Don't you think so? They are directly controlling the Egypt. Egypt is under the rule of ruler, but as they were not in a position to pay back, so what they did, what European powers did, they appointed the official, and this official is going to control the income and expenditure of Egypt. Means basically you are the ruler just for namesake. The real power is taken away from you. Neha, Kamal Pasha is related to Turkey, the person who made Turkey secular. Yes, that person made Turkey secular. He ended the caliphate in Turkey. And the Erdogan is there. This person is going to reverse whatever the changes introduced by Kamal Pasha in Turkey. That is a different person. They are from the same region, so that's why surname may be the same. Why you are taking so much tension? Clear? So this point is clear to you. Appointment of official, how and how this Britishers or Frenchmen gradually control this area. Next, with as you have a control over the finances, so it's a big deal. Is it a big deal to establish control over the other aspects of the Egyptian life? No, it was very simple. So this gradual establishment of control over income and expenditure leads to gradual establishment of control over the Egypt, and finally that led to the removal of Ismail Pasha. Can you compare this thing with Bengal? Yes. Have you ever read about the Indian history, and that is related to the Bengal? How British established their control over Bengal. First they got Diwani right. First they got Diwani right. Then they gradually established the control, and finally they ended the Nawabship. It was the same thing here only. The gradual establishment of control that leads to removal of Ismail Pasha, and Egypt became the victim of British colonization. They established one more person as the ruler, but it was that person was basically puppet in the hands of Britishers. Sir, what were the Ottoman Empire masters of Egypt doing when UK and France controlled Egypt? Ottoman Empire right now, if you go through this era, Ottoman Empire was about to fall. About to fall, it was just for namesake. They were not in a position to control this area. They were not in a position even to fight with any power. Ottoman Empire was the most important empire in the late medieval time and early modern time, but right now the fall of Ottoman Empire already started. They were not in a position to fight with anybody. Clear? Very best example we discussed in Austria annexed Bosnia and Herzegovina. These were the two territories of Turkey. What Turkey did? Nothing. Austria just paid the monetary compensation. That's why problem is solved. Even the Balkan War, who were having control over this area? Of course, Turkey was having control. Clear? So you now get it that Turkey was not in a position to control this area. They were just ruler for themselves. Now, here again this point, Egypt became the victim of British colonization. Britishers established a puppet ruler. Yes, Britishers established a puppet ruler there and they controlled all the area. Later on in 1914, Egypt declared as a protectorate state. Protectorate state of Britain. Means Britain is going to take care of it. And you know what? Though the word used the protectorate state, but it became an instrument of exploitation of Egypt. And because of this protectorate state, what happened? Britishers ended the control of Turkey, which was theoretically present. They ended in theory as well. Practically, British already established their control, but with this 1914 things, Britishers declared Egypt as their protectorate state and they ended the theoretical uh, control of Turkey. Now it is completely under Britain. And you know what? What they are going to do? They are going to exploit. They did it. Yes, is that clear to all of you? Yes, is that clear to all of you? Any question? Yes, everyone. Is that clear to all of you? Is there any question, any query? Yes, everyone. Is there any question, any query? Yes, everyone. Is there any question, any query, any doubt? Hello, am I audible to all of you? Is there any doubt, any query, any question, anything? Or is that clear to you? Okay, it is clear to you. Okay. The next thing, that is the next portion of this colonization and decolonization of Egypt, we are going to continue in the next lecture, but we are going to take this topic in special classes. So it is available on our app. Clear? It is available on the app. We are going to discuss the second part of it, and along with that, whatever I promised you, the promise was basically related to the question of West African freedom struggle. We are going to discuss that in that lecture. Yes. So that's all for today's lecture. Thank you very much for valuable time. Yes, and those who want to connect with me, then you can connect with me through my Telegram channel at Unacademy underscore Harshv10. Along with that, you can join me on the all social media platforms. It's easy for you to find out me. And those who haven't taken subscription, when you want to take subscription, use my code Harshv10 and please ask me the question. I'm here to answer. Yes, so it's my duty to answer your question. If you like the video, yes, if you like the video, press the like button. Along with that, share information with the other. And if you really like my the way of teaching, so please dedicate your hats, which is there on our app. You can dedicate it. So that's it. Thank you very much for your valuable time. Have a good day. And most probably, yes, not just most probably, tomorrow we are having lecture at 11 o'clock only, but most probably we are having lecture in the evening and we are going to cover this portion of Egypt. Yes, so for further update